Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. The Warriors are in panic mode. They are losing the championship series 3-1 and we know it will be difficult to turn it around, but we are rooting for our Warriors to succeed. Regardless of the result, the roster needs to be stronger for next season if they want to restore their dynasty, and one name on the table that could change the Warriors' history is Giannis Antetokounmpo, if he becomes available. The Golden State Warriors had little room for error after Stephen Curry suffered a hamstring injury, and that was proven with 3 consecutive losses to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which put their season on life support. Just understanding how Giannis has had a proclivity for Steph Curry before, how they can play together, how you can keep that title window open for both. I just think it's an interesting team to talk about that nobody is really talking about. Potential Warriors trade package. To Williams' point, the Warriors could use Butler's $54.1 million salary while attaching assets such as Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, and Moses Moody to entice the Bucks. Furthermore, the Warriors have at least 2 tradable firsts. Kuminga's future with the Warriors remains uncertain beyond the 2024-25 season. The fourth-year forward will be a restricted free agent in the 2025 offseason, but the Warriors will have the right to match any and all offer sheets he may receive. In Kuminga, the Bucks may have their young franchise star to build the team around, with Butler as the transitionary locker room leader to mentor the Congolese youngster. As Williams highlighted, Antetokounmpo and Curry have long expressed their fondness for one another, even suggesting they could play together at some point. Giannis and Steph's friendship. Back in September 2022, Antetokounmpo turned heads when he said he was jealous of Curry and the Warriors after they captured the 2022 NBA championship. "I believe the best player in the world is Steph Curry," Antetokounmpo said, via ESPN's Jamal Collier. "The feeling I felt, it was a nice feeling, watching Warriors win. I got jealous of Golden State, seeing them in the parade and the ESPYs. You know that feeling now. You know what is getting stripped away from you." In response, Curry repaid the compliment. "I would say the same thing when you're facing the champions," Curry said of Giannis. "That's part of the nature of the league. We all want to win the championship. And when you look at the team that's the last team standing and who was playing the best, I was thinking the same thing about him last year, coming off their run." Multiple insiders have said that the Warriors have long desired Antetokounmpo. After the Bucks were ousted from the 2025 NBA playoffs, Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley made a case for a Warriors-Antetokounmpo pairing. Antetokounmpo has fascinated this franchise for years, and he might have reasons to look around if Milwaukee, which has one series win to show for the past 3 seasons, can't reverse its playoff misfortune, wrote Buckley. The Golden State Warriors had little room for error once Stephen Curry went down with a hamstring injury, and that's been proven the case with 3 straight losses to the Minnesota Timberwolves that's put their season on life support. The 117-110 Game 4 loss on Monday night was particularly jarring given the passiveness of Jimmy Butler, suggesting the Warriors should be all in on trying to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo this offseason. The Warriors need to find a path to obtaining Giannis Antetokounmpo. ESPN's Shams Charania reported on Monday that Antetokounmpo is open to exploring where his future may lie, with that news giving Golden State some potential hope in the dream of acquiring the Milwaukee Bucks superstar and pairing him with fellow 2x MVP Stephen Curry. Make no mistake, the trade for Butler in early February has been the biggest factor behind the Warriors even making the playoffs, yet Monday's game showed the franchise could do with an even bigger upgrade. After going scoreless in the final 8 minutes on Saturday, Butler took just 9 field goal attempts and scored only 14 points in Game 4. While the 6x All-Star has had a huge impact on Golden State in recent months, perhaps it's proof that at 35 years old he's no longer capable of being the consistently great playoff performer he once was. With Butler struggling, the Warriors unsurprisingly failed to create enough offense, most notably from the three-point line as their lack of spacing saw them shoot 8 of 27, 29.6%. From beyond the arc. Jonathan Kuminga tried his best with 16 first-half points that saw Golden State hold a 60-58 advantage after 24 minutes, But it wasn't sustainable as the hosts couldn't find an answer for Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, who combined for 61 points. Whether it's dealing Butler or another package that includes franchise legend Draymond Green, Golden State need to try and get in on the Antetokounmpo conversation this offseason. Were he in Butler's spot right now, for example, it's easy to envisage that the Warriors would have won at least one, if not both home games in this series, despite Curry sitting on the sidelines. That's not to take away from anything Butler has done for this team, or what Green has done as one of the best and most accomplished players the franchise has ever had, but this is an MVP-level player who could become available and would be able to hold the fort in a way the team hasn't been able to do since Curry went down. The Warriors' hopes of landing Antetokounmpo may have improved as a result of Charania's report, yet they're still at long odds given multiple rivals around the league will be able to put together far better offers. Jonathan Kuminga's stats this series show Steve Kerr made a mistake keeping him on the bench. He was the missing ingredient. Despite not having Steve Kerr's faith, Jonathan Kuminga has been balling for the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are currently battling the Minnesota Timberwolves to win Game 4 and keep themselves in this series. Things have been tough for the Warriors ever since they lost Stephen Curry in Game 1. While Jimmy Butler and Buddy Hield carried them to a win in Game 1, the rest of the series has looked lopsided. Jonathan Kuminga impressed Steve Kerr with some minutes in Game 2, even earning a spot in Game 3. And despite the loss in Game 3, Kerr was once again impressed with Kuminga's effort. It appears that Kuminga's performances have been going under the radar, as one statistic shows just how well he has been playing for them. Brilliant Jonathan Kuminga numbers show Kerr's mistake. At the end of the first quarter of Game 4 between the Warriors and the Timberwolves, Jonathan Kuminga established his presence. He ended the period with 8 points and 1 assist, while shooting 3 to 4 from the field. Warriors expert Anthony Slater pointed out just how brilliant Kuminga has been over the last few games. In the last 9 quarters, Game 2 to 3 full, and Q1 Game 4, Kuminga scored 56 points across 68 minutes, going 22 to 23 from the field. These numbers prove that Kuminga brings a whole new dynamic to the Warriors' offense, and he can carry the team during stretches of the game. Kerr must back Kuminga going forward. Jonathan Kuminga is playing really well in this series so far. He is currently averaging 18.3 points per game in this series. Stephen Curry injury update: Warriors star out for Game 5 versus Timberwolves as Golden State faces elimination. Curry has been out since Game 1 with a hamstring strain. Sam Quinn. By Sam Quinn. 1 hour ago. 1 minute read. Join the conversation. Curry hurt Getty.png. Getty Images. Stephen Curry will miss Game 5 of the second-round series between the Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves with the hamstring strain that has kept him out since Game 1, the team announced Tuesday. That means Golden State, trailing in the series 3-1, will face elimination without their best player on Wednesday. Curry's injury came in the first half of Game 1. He had been playing quite well, scoring 13 quick points, and he helped Golden State build up a big enough lead to surprisingly steal Game 1, on the road. The series has been all Timberwolves since then, though. Without Curry, the Warriors just haven't been able to generate consistent offense. Jimmy Butler has had an up-and-down series, and even with the surprising contributions of Jonathan Kuminga, the Warriors don't have enough shooting without Curry to threaten Minnesota's defense. Jimmy Butler has failed the Warriors, and Stephen Curry, when they needed him most. Brad Botkin. Jimmy Butler has failed the Warriors, and Stephen Curry, when they needed him most. When Curry was initially injured, the Warriors said that he would be re-evaluated in 1 week. The typical timeline for a grade 1 hamstring strain is usually a week or 2, and The Athletic reported that Curry made it through a pretty strenuous workout Saturday ahead of Game 3. Curry didn't push it to full speed, according to a team source. He's yet to burst or cut or test that left hamstring in a manner that'll deliver him and Rick Celebrini, the team's lead medical decision-maker, the true information they'll need on whether the hamstring is healed enough to return deeper in this series. But he went through a medium-speed shooting routine and rode the stationary bike. This was a notable advancement for Curry in his race against time. For now, Curry's status for a hypothetical Game 6 is uncertain. The Warriors would have to survive Game 5 on Wednesday to even have a chance at bringing back Curry, but if they can do that, they wouldn't be scheduled to play again until Sunday. That would give Curry several more days to potentially recover and return to the series. Anything can happen in a single game, but for Golden State to plausibly win 3 in a row, Curry almost has to be back for the last 2. Golden State has been overmatched without him all series, so they're facing an uphill battle in Game 5 now that he's been ruled out. Draymond Green takes blame for Jimmy Butler's passive performance in Warriors' loss. Steve Kerr gives verdict. The Golden State Warriors are on the ropes and face elimination from the NBA playoffs. After snatching the series opener, the Golden State Warriors went on to endure 3 consecutive losses, the latest a 117-110 loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They failed to defend their home court, and the impact of Stephen Curry's absence continues to be felt. After a tightly contested first half, the Warriors couldn't stop the third-quarter barrage unleashed by the Timberwolves, trailing by as much as 21. Their comeback efforts were too late as Minnesota already breezed en route to a commanding 3-1 lead. Julius Randle, 31, and Anthony Edwards, 30, paced Minnesota once again in beating the Warriors and are now 1 win away from securing the franchise's second straight West Finals appearance. Steve Kerr addresses Jimmy Butler's disappointing Game 4. It was an awful night for the Warriors, and everyone is looking at what went wrong for Jimmy Butler. With Curry still out due to a hamstring strain, expectations are high for Butler to take the lead on a temporary basis. But when it mattered most in Game 4, the star forward was non-existent, finishing with just 14 points across 34 minutes. After a tremendous display in Game 3 with 33 points on 12-26 shooting, Butler followed it up with a passive 5-9 field goal play and a -30 performance. Steve Kerr already admitted before that with Curry unavailable, Butler is limited in what he can bring to the table. And for him, this Game 4 is simply a clear representation of it. He wasn't as aggressive tonight, but I didn't see a lot of openings either, Kerr said in post-game. Ideally, we could put more shooting around him to open up the floor a little bit. But with Steph out, we're not going to be able to do as much of that. With that said, we'll look at the tape and see where we can find some openings for him, and I know he'll be aggressive for Game 5. Draymond Green takes accountability about Butler. With Butler fading out, Jonathan Kuminga delivered once again, but his 23 points off the bench were not enough to lift Golden State against Minnesota's all-out firepower. Meanwhile, Draymond Green shouldered the responsibility of the Warriors' forwards' lackluster effort, further indicating that Butler is not feeling well going to Game 4. I mean, we obviously need him shooting the ball, but their defense was collapsing on him today. We tried to pick up that slack, but I know he's not feeling well. He's been pretty crappy all day, so that also affects the energy, Green said about Butler after a 14-point losing effort. Still, no excuses made here. I think that's on me. I have to find a way to get him in a better position to score. Tonight, I was just trying to get him the ball, but I don't think I got it to him in the right spots, which allowed the defense to load up on him. I need to do a better job getting him the ball in better areas where it's not as easy for the defense to key in on him. With their season on the line and Curry's playing status still up in the air, the Warriors can only hope that Butler will turn it up and activate his playoff Jimmy mode.